Welcome to the channel, to this 1,500 point game between Tyranids and Space Marines. It's a very special day on the channel today because, for one reason, this is the first time you will get to see Tyranids on the channel, and for the other reason, I'm in the studio of Tabletop Tactics. How awesome is that? So this is Tabletop Tactic terrain that you see before you today, and if you want to see some more awesome videos, go and check out their YouTube channel, one of the biggest YouTube channels in the world, certainly one of the biggest in the UK. And you'll get to see my ugly mug on that channel because I've had 3 fights now, 1 on the free channel and 2 on the demand channel. So if you want to know how Winter's SEO does when he's traveling abroad, go and check out Tabletop Tactics. But today the 13th Legion are going to meet Hive Fleet Myrmidon.
That's right.
Myrmidon. On this ruined wasteland. It's an eternal war mission, and there are 3 objectives. It is Crusade. We've got Slay the Warlord, First Blood and Linebreaker, and the Space Marines are deploying on this table edge. The Hive Fleet will be swarming forward from the other table edge, and it's interesting that all 3 tactics, all 3 objectives are up in this corner. This is going to get quite crowded, I think. It is not nighttime. The sun is high in the sky when these 2 forces clash. Just for clarity, we're counting everything on the table as a ruin, so the Sky Shield and the bastions, they're all ruined. 4+ cover save, 5+ cover save by all the barricades and everything else, and some large line of sight blocking terrain left, right and all over the place. So I am super excited to see bugs on the channel. It's going to be a bug hunt. Let's go and have a look at these armies. Okay, this is 1,500 points worth of Space Marines. It's a Gladiator strike formation. There's 2 battle demi companies with a storm wing in the auxiliary, which means all those transports are free, minus the upgrades. Nice. The Warlord for the army is a captain with a power sword. In the assault slot is an attack bike. In the heavy slot is Devastators with 3 missile launchers, and then the 3 tacticals. There's a plasma squad, there's a flamer combi flamer, and there's a melter combi melter. The other battle demi company is led by a chaplain. There's the attack bike, 3 las cannons in the devastator slot, and there's a missile launcher in this tactical squad, a flamer in this tactical squad, and a plasma in this tactical squad. Okay, so there's a real mixed bag of different specialist weapons in here because I haven't faced Tyranids for a very long time, and I don't really know what to bring. Also, this is straight after a fight that I've just had with Lawrence for Tabletop Tactics on Demand. You have to subscribe to that channel. It is awesome. Go to his On Demand and you'll get to see my face again on Tabletop Tactics. It was a very close game, 1 point in it. One of the best games I've had in a very long time. So anyway, that's my army. Let's go and have a look at the bugs. Okay, this is 1,500 points of Tyranids, and it looks very small and very beautiful. And I've got no idea what's going on here, so I'll hand you over to Lawrence.
Right, so Winter's really looking forward to this game. I've got 1,500 points, or specifically 1,495 points of Hive Fleet Myrmidon, and you're right, Winters, it is very small in comparison with your incredibly painted Space Marines. But look, I'll go over what I've got. I've got 2 units of 30 Gaunts, and they are in the large broods here, and they are headed up by 2 Tervigans. They're my favourites. Love those things. They've got Crushing Claws, and they've got Electroshock Grubs, which is basically like a Haywire Flamer template. We then have 2 Hive Crones, just stock, in fast attack. The Tervigans, incidentally, are HQ. They're usually HQ choices, but they're troops choices because I've taken units of 30 Termagants. Then in the HQ, we've got the much-loathed Dual Devourer, Twin-Link Devourer, Hive Tyrants, 2 of them, with wings. So very, very nasty firepower units there. And we have a single Venom Thrope, which gives everything within 6 inches of it shrouding. So nasty stuff, but ultimately an old book. And I think High Fleet Myrmidon, which I should point out, is currently undefeated. Oddly, just undefeated on the channel. That may well be about to change on your channel, Winters.
Thanks for that, Lawrence. I'm going to ask you again and again what these things do midway through the game. And look at these. Very, very pretty. Don't you love bugs? Everyone loves bugs. Okay, so let's go and have a look at deployment. And this is what the table looks like after the deployment. The Tyranids are going first. The Space Marines have chosen not to seize the initiative because going second in Eternal War missions is a powerful tactic to zip round and steal objectives later on. And here is a High Fleet Myrmidon, all grouped up, all ready to charge forward and bring the buggy pain. Facing them on the other side of the table is not a lot. There are 4 pods in reserve, and my units strung out all across the line. All the transports are empty except for this one, which has got 5 guys and a plasma in it. This one's empty. They're up there. The Razorback is empty. They're up there. The Razorback in the corner is empty. They're there. I've got the 2 attack bikes zipping in from reserve for late minute objective grabbing, the Storm Wing, and of course all the pods. Deliberately spread out all the way across the table because Tyranids don't function well when they get spread out all over the place, and leaving these 2 objectives, deliberately leaving this area empty as somewhat of a kill zone. That's the tactic anyway. So at the start of this fight, when the Tyranids advance, there will be not a lot to face them. There won't be much in the table meeting them initially. And then my reserves should start turning up and should start influencing the battlefield. I should also mention that the Warlord and the Chaplain have attached themselves to a 5-man tactical squad with a flamer and have embarked in the Storm Raven. Strange screams can be heard echoing throughout this ruined city, and with a flap of wings, the Tyranids advance. Let's go on to turn 1. End of turn 1, movement and psychic phase for the Tyranids, and the swarm just advances, an endless tide of chichen, claws and screams. There was 60 bugs, but with some spawning and no doubles rolled, there's now 84 bugs pouring towards the Space Marine lines. But unfortunately for them, all the psychic powers, all of them, Onslaught, Catalyst, were either blocked or failed. Let's go on to the shooting phase. Twin Link Devourers coming in from the Warlord, and the second in command rinsed away at this unit here but didn't score first blood. There's 1 left running away from this onslaught. Let's go on to turn 1 for the Space Marines as drop pods come hurling down from out of the sky. Movement phase for the Space Marines was all very simple. Everything shifted around to get shots on this Tervagon while it hasn't got catalyst and it's largely in the open except for the Venom Thrope, Zone Thrope. Venom Thrope, that's next to it, and 2 drop pods. There's a Grav combi, a Melter combi Melter, Plasma combi Plasma. Kill the thing, bug. Tervagon, kill the Tervagon. Operation Kill the Tervagon is in effect. The rest of the army is going to remain largely untouched this turn. So Tactical Doctrine is in effect. Let's pull the trigger. Gunfire, bolt gun rounds ricochet across the line. All the flyers didn't take any hits, weren't targeted this turn. Instead I was picking on all the Termagons and did nothing around this side, but missile launches from here, plus the drop pods in the backfield, and the Tervagon is dead. The Synaptic Backlash killed quite a few in this unit, but just nibbled away at the other 2 units. And the Venom Thrope, well, he's on 1 wound left, so that is first blood for the 13th Legion, and a big blow for High Fleet Myrmidon. So that was a tough turn for the Tyranids. They didn't score first blood. This one chap left alive, firing las cannons across the line and losing that Termagon in the backfield, significantly depleting their ability to spawn. Is it over before it begins? let's go on to turn 2. In the Tyranid movement and psychic phase, this Hive Crone flew over that Rhino, vector striking it, not damaging it. This Hive Tyrant psychic screamed 3 out of 5 of this squad here. They're not falling back. And this Hive Crone vector struck the Lascannon guy who was sat there, killing him. As for the rest of the table, bugs advance and bugs turn around. Look at that swarm heading in for the drop pods and the units that came out of them last turn. Lunch is served and the Tyranids are turning around and they're hungry. The Venomthrope is now hiding in the building. 9 more Termagaunts swarmed from the Tervagon. I will get these names at some point. And he's got this haywire electroshock grub thing, and look at them. There's just a absolute wave of Chichin which is about to wash over these guys, and with his crushing claws. I don't think there'll be much here left at the end of Tyranid turn 2, and I can't do that again. There's an empty pod and a pod with a Flamer Combi Flamer, so I can't drop in and kill a Tervagon in one hit 2 turns in a row. So let's go on to the Tyranid shooting phase. So the Tyranid riposte was actually quite strong. The Twin-Link Devourers and this Hive Crone cleared away this unit of Devastators, which took the last wound off the Tervagon over there last turn. Both of the Devastator squad are now gone. Firepower severely reduced. 3 out of 5 and that unit died to Psychic Scream. This thing died to the Tentaclids and to the Twin-Link Devourers in the backfield. So that's 2 units completely removed from play by Hive Fleet Myrmidon. After all the shooting and assaulting in this squad here, there are 3 left, surrounded by screaming bugs. And the pod and the other unit are gone. Interestingly, when the pod blew up, it killed the only guy from this squad in assault and shooting. It took a wound off the Termagon and killed about 6 from the squad that were right next to it, clawing to death the last remaining Space Marines. So that explosion, the shrapnel that came flying out of there, a couple of Space Marines died, lots and lots of bugs died. It was a big detonation. So this fight down here is going to go on for many, many turns, and at the bottom of turn 2, the Tyranid Castle is still pretty strong. There is 180 bugs charging through the center and flyers all the way along the Space Marine lines. If the Stormwing doesn't come in this turn, the game could easily swing in favor of the Tyranids. So Lawrence, we'll do that one on camera, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Stormwing comes in on a what does it come in on? Just
3 up.
3 up. Thanks. Thank you very much. It's in. It's in. Thank the Emperor, it's in. Here we are in the movement phase, and the Stormwing are screaming down the edge of the battle zone, down the edge of the battle grid, and is going to strafe along the front line and try and remove Crone and Tyrant alike. And the Space Marine Commander screaming out to take these flyers out of the battle. They must be removed. And with it, a large synaptic portion of the Tyranid hive mind will collapse. Meanwhile, some of the armor staying still, some of the armor staying still. The attack bite came on here, staying way away from the rest of the fight, ready to swing round and influence the battle in later turns or potentially line break. And the last pod, well, I thought long and hard about it, but there's a Flamer, Combi Flamer in that squad, and the Venomthrope has got a 5+ cover save. So if I throw everything and that Tervagon, I can also hit the Venomthrope with a teardrop shape and kill it. So the battle plan for the Space Marines is working. Tyranids split up here, little buggers in the middle, can't really influence much of the game right now, and I'm leaving them alone. And big bugs and a portion of the army staying in the backfield to deal with these reserves, which are dropping in. It's looking good so far. Let's move on to the shooting phase. Bottom of turn 2, the Venomthrope is dead, but just 1 wound on that Tervagon there, 5 remaining. Big bites out of the apple from some incidental fire from over here, and the Stormwing And the Stormwing, well, it cleared away the Hive Crone, and the second in command is on 1 wound left and grounded. Nearly killed both of those big bugs there, but he is still kicking it, and he's very, very angry. So we're going on to turn 3 for the Tyranids, and they're not out of the fight yet, but Lawrence is feeling a bit bruised right now. Yeah, so as we're going into turn 3, what are you thinking so far?
So, Myrmidon are, although undefeated, they've had some pretty favourable matchups, I won't lie. This is not a great matchup for Myrmidon. Old Codex, not using any of the new formations, and right now I'm taking a hammering with the firepower. But we're not out, you know, I'm not depressed, I never give up as you would expect from me. So we shall see what happens. I've got some flying monsters that will hopefully do some damage to those flyers next turn.
Okay, so that's fighting talk. We're moving on to turn 3. In the movement phase, the Hive Tyrant that was there has come over here, and the one that was there, his second in command, has jumped up and over and perils himself to death when he tried to warp blast the rear jinking arc of that Storm Talon. He's gone. 1 Hive Tyrant down, and then Vector Strikes and Warp Blasts in on this Storm Raven. It's got 1 hull point left. So 1 hull point left before we enter the shooting phase, and all that Daka and all those tentacles start flying in. Around in the back corner, this Turbogon has taken up attack run position at the unit that came out of the drop pod, and she spawned 3, and you know what that means? That means triple ones. That means no more spawning for this bad mother. And that was really, really sad as well. I'm sorry, I keep laughing out loud. So it was bad. It just got worse. Can Hive Fleet Myrmidon pull back from this? Can they rip any of these flyers out of the sky? Let's go on to the shooting phase. In the shooting phase, Tentaclids and Twin Link Devaris Fire blew up the Storm Raven. It came crashing down from the sky, killing every single occupant, but the invulnerable saves of the Chaplain and the Captain managed to keep them alive. They're not pinned. That was a very significant event there. Lawrence was hoping the Tentaclids would have clipped it, would have blown it up first so he could have sunk Devourers into them, but it took both of the flyers to take it out of the sky. And it's turn 3, and my Warlord and his second in command are a long, long way from any of the objectives. Then round here there's 1 brave Marine left in the middle of a claw sandwich. All of his buddies ripped apart as the Hive Fleet swarm just take them down and, well, fill their bellies. The Turbogon killed the Marine, and the Marine, with a cracknade, put 1 wound on the Turbogon. So there is 2 left, 3 left in this squad down here, and this combat is locked up. The little Hormagaunts there that spawned a turn ago, they're also in there. It's going to take him a couple of turns to clear his backlines, but clear his backlines he will. Bottom of turn 3, in the Chaplain and the Captain that were there hopped in the Razorback, and they are getting out of dodge. They're making their way along the back lines, thinking about the objectives later in the game. The Jinkin Storm Talon has moved off, and the other Storm Talon combined fire with the remaining squads and that attack bike that came on this turn and poured fire into one of these squads here, just whittling them away, wet sacks of meat popping right and left as mass reactive rounds detonate chitin bodies. The Rhino that was over there is smashing through terrain, making its way to this side of the wall. It moved flat out again, thinking about turn 5, turn 6. Its tracks now greasy with the ichor of dead Tyranids. And in the fight in the backfield, well, 1 man died in that 3-man squad, and they fell around. They're running this way. Didn't take any wounds off the Termagon, and that one last survivor, he's not a survivor anymore. He's gone. So it's the start of turn 4, and the Tyranids have finally cleared their backlines, except for 2 pesky drop pods. They've got a lump of wet meat in the middle of the table and 2 flyers moving along my lines on this side of the table, and that's it. But if you cast your eyes over the battlefield, you'll also notice that there's very little blue left. Lawrence thought this was going to be a cakewalk for the Space Marines, but
I'm still alive.
he's still alive. Okay, let's go on to turn 4. Turn 4 movement for the Tyranids, and it's quite simple. The big bug is behind that door looking mean, and I think these two, well, their days are numbered. And these guys lined up for tentacled shots on the Storm Raven and twin link devourer shots on the arse end of that Razorback there. So the High Fleet have torn the Storm Talon out of the sky. It took both of them to do it, leaving the Razorback untouched and chugging away, running away from these flyers. Round here, yeah, that Tervagon just ran over those 2 remaining Space Marines there, killing them utterly, and has finally come out of his little hole there. There was some incidental fire to the right and to the left, but High Fleet Myrmidon are putting up a damn good show. So let's go on to Space Marines turn 4 and try and turn this fight around, because I've got that sinking feeling again. All that's left of my army is in this side of the table. Captain and Chaplain. Lawrence is trying to bait me. Say they want to be somebody. Get him out. Get him out. But look. Look at all those bugs. They're not coming out of there. They're not coming out of there for love and money. They're chucking their way up the table. Those bugs can't scratch those vehicles. So I'm going to shoot you from inside my nice tin can. It ain't happening. Anyway, so the plan is this Razorback was going to hop round and start moving on to objectives, but that didn't happen. It became immobilized. So instead, I'm going to shoot along with everything that can at her. She must die. So no Space Marines remain in that part of the table, except that one attack bike, which was encroaching around the table a few turns again. He's on 1 wound left. End of turn 4, the Razorback has moved flat out across the lines, and everything that could fire at the big bug in the backfield fired at the big bug in the backfield, and it lost 1 wound. It's got 3 left.
Yes.
Just 1 wound off of it, and Lawrence is extremely pleased about that. I think I nibbled a bug or 2 with some drop pods, but that was outrageous firepower. And as we go into turn 5, the Tyranids control 2 out of 3 of the objectives. So Hive Fleet Myrmidon are in the ascendancy here. Let's move on to turn 5. Big Mama has moved forward to take this objective, and the squad that was there has strung all the way along here, and they're up there. They're one of the objective secured units, one of the original squads. This squad behind her is not objective secured. That's one of the spawn squads, along with these little guys in the backfield there. So they currently hold that objective and this objective, and the last objective secured squad, it's swarming all the way around and is offsetting that objective there. The Rhino in there took a vector strike from this thing on the way through and is shaken, as did this Razorback take a warp blast from the Warlord reigning high and supreme over the center of the battlefield. So 2 hull points, 1 off each of those vehicles. The units inside are not snap firing. So we'll be going on to the shooting phase, and as long as I stay inside my little boxes, I should be okay, but I'm going to need to steal these objectives back somehow. Lawrence, how do you feel about this? Are you feeling good now all of a sudden?
All of a sudden, it's occurred to me that life is good.
That life is good.
It wasn't before, but now it's amazing. Yeah, okay. I think I might win this.
I think you might win this. I think you're doing very well. Why are we both surprised by that? Fire from the bugs killed my attack bike, which was going to zip forward and obsec that objective over there. And fire from this big bad boy, the Hive Tyrant, has blown open this transport, and they're not pinned, but they can't assault anyone this turn. So currently, Tyranids control 2 objectives, and looking around the table, How am I going to get them back? I could flat out that rhino and take that objective. Well, not take that objective, but cancel out that objective. This objective is cancelled out. But the Tyranids would still score this one here. So somehow I need to stop them scoring this one. The plan was assault with the bike, assault the tail, and these guys would have had to have piled in, and the Nids wouldn't have scored this one. That was the plan, but the bike is now dead. So how do I stop them scoring this one? I don't really know. I think what I can do is leave them scoring this. Somehow stop them scoring that. And shoot off enough bugs from there. How do I do that? How do I do that? I don't... We're in the bottom of turn 5. The Storm Talon switched into VTOL mode, slammed on the reverse thrusters, went in the corner of this the table to avoid any vector strikes, and then unloaded and blew up the Turbogon. And this is the way the world ends. We rolled a dice on a 1-2. Lawrence rolled it, and it's all over. Synaptic backlash killed off a bunch of little bugs all around it, and then the Razorback opened up. These guys opened up. Other people opened up left, right, and the center on the squad that was streaming up here. It was out of synapse range at the end of the shooting phase and fell back due to the casualties it took. So no one controls that objective. No one controls this objective. And this squad in there unleashed hell on the bugs in front of them, trying to push them back. Their motion trackers pinging away, going wildly. Not enough firepower to take that objective though, but certainly one hell of a last stand. And no one controls that objective either. In fact, no one controls any of the objectives. There's the Tyranid Warlord, there's my Warlord, so it just comes down to line breaker and first blood. No Tyranids line breaking, and I scored first blood. Some pods are line breaking in the backfield, so it's 2 points to 0. This bike was in the backfield ready to add redundancy and firing on the Turbogon if it needed to. This thing was there ready to fire in if it needed to, but in the end, he took a little bite out of those gaunts there and then failed his charge, which was embarrassing, but it's 2 points to 0. So the Space Marines had a comfortable start, and then it was one hell of a comeback by the Tyranids, and it looked like they were going to steal it. But in the end, the 13th Legion, the Space Marines, managed to pull it out the bag. How do you feel about that, Lawrence?
I think it's appropriate. It's very cinematic. Hive Fleet Myrmidon, the first time they lose, you can imagine they're actually stopped against this, Imperial wall, which is awesome. And it's good that I failed for the game to continue, because actually I think if the game had continued, in fact I'm positive that the Tyranids would have actually overrun you. But I imagine that what happened in this game is, as I rolled the 2, it was the signals from the orbital cruiser, and more drop pods just come raining in, and they just ruin the Tyranids before you're overrun. So the extraction plan is in full effect, as the Adeptus Astartes are victorious. You could ask for more.
What a wonderful piece of narrative. So we came raining down from the sky, gave you false hope, and just as you thought you were going to snatch it, 100 more pods come slamming into the battlefield. So thank you very, very much for being such a gracious host, Lawrence.
Pleasure.
I love your house. And thank you everyone for watching, and happy Wargaming.